Hello, world, and welcome to the Last Comic Book Standing podcast. Are you a casual fan of comics but don't really know much about comic books? And that's where I come in. I do the reading, so you can sit back, watch, and enjoy the show. Let's get started. Okay, so for this issue, I decided to put on some Marilyn Manson and listen to Cry Little Sister. So if you can listen to it while watching this, turn it on and enjoy the show. The cover shows three of our main characters, the Beautiful Psylocke, which comic fans all have a secret crush on, young Cable, son of Cyclops and Jean Grey, and X-23, Laura McKinney, the female clone of Wolverine. We begin the story with a little girl in a subway, and we see her place this electronic device on the side of her face, and she changes into this black-eyed, super-strength version of herself and rips one of the handrails off and begins attacking people. She's ripping train doors open, kills the conductor, speeds the train up to maximum speed, and utters the word apoth before it crashes and blows up. So who's weaponizing a child? And we see our cast of characters with a brief intro. Peace in our time. Mutants around the world are flocking to the island nation of Krakoa for safety, security, and to be part of the first mutant society. New bonds are forged among mutant kind as old wounds heal, but the drums of war still beat for some. And here we see Psylocke, Magneto, Mr. Sinister, Cable, X-23, and Captain Britain. Now we're on Krakoa Island with Psylocke. She's speaking wonderfully of the island, and she cuts herself a tiny bit with her sword, lets a drop fall onto a flower, and out grows a purple butterfly. She's in meditation state, so she's having this vision. She's sitting peacefully when suddenly she receives a psychic message that she cannot remain in the safety of Xavier's island. The little girl is a godlike foe that she must face. The voice explains that this apoth is the new name for this entity trying to be God, and she should head to Japan to check out the train where it all started. She heads to Magneto to tell him of this voice, and he thinks she shouldn't get involved in small human problems like this, but she's insisting. She also reveals to him that Captain Britain, who's Betsy Braddock, was her old body, but she's keeping the name Psylocke. Her consciousness is now in this current body. Oh, this tangled clone world they've weaved. Magneto's not giving her permission to leave the island, and she's arguing that she needs to do this. He's insisting it was a bad dream, and that she needs to go visit Mr. Sinister because he thinks her vision would be something he'd be very interested in. Now, hopefully you've watched the episode on X-Force number 1. So if you haven't, stop this video and go watch that before you proceed. Spoiler alert, if you're still watching, I'm going to assume you know that Xavier was killed. So Magneto is in mourning and doesn't want to deal with much of anything right now. Psylocke then meets with Mr. Sinister, and he thinks Apoth is a human who has figured out the truth. And he begins to tell Psylocke that she's an assassin and the spirit inside her must constantly want fresh blood. And he inquires about how her first kill felt and how she felt when Betsy Braddock was her body. And he points out that getting revenge on her and killing her would almost be too easy, almost seeing if she would bite and be convinced to take action. But she's more concerned with getting off the island to prevent the end of the world. But she answers his question after he insists and says she would kill Betsy the same way she kills everyone, quickly. Sinister then honors her request and grants her permission to leave the island, but tells her to not face Apoth alone. We then see a flashback from Japan where the little subway girl is speaking with the hooded figure, and she's learning from the figure what her purpose is. She's being groomed to be this god of war to bring balance, which to them is only achieved with violence. We're then shown a party where people are gathered around a bonfire and everyone's dancing, enjoying themselves, and Cable approaches X-23, who's not the party type. And after asking how she likes to celebrate, she tells him that her type of dancing hurts, and she cracks him with a straight left to the face. And he tries countering with a right kick, and she swipes his feet out from under him. She extracts her claws and tells him she's won, because at that point, if she felt like it, he'd be dead. She doesn't enjoy the safety of Krakoa because for her, safety sucks. They're then approached by Psylocke, who tells them she needs to speak to them, so they're to meet her at her home. And we see Betsy Braddock emerge, and before she's able to ask Psylocke if they can speak, Psylocke walks off saying it's not necessary. Psylocke is asking Cable and X-23 to come with her because they're made for this. X-23 being a hunter, Cable being a soldier, they crave battle. So Laura wants to speak privately outside and tell Psylocke that she'll go because she wants out of the island's bubble and out of Wolverine's shadow, but she wants Cable to stay because he deserves peace for once. So the two of them make it out to Japan, and Psylocke is meeting with a member of the underworld to get a lead on Apoth. And she's told that there's an electronic device in the black market called the Overlock, and it takes over the brain and central nervous system through the use of narcotics and causes psychological damage with frequent use. So it makes people easier to control, and it makes you basically want to kill everyone in sight. Psylocke is then shown the video of the train incident, and she's clearly triggered by seeing a purple butterfly on the little girl's neck. We're then shown another flashback of Psylocke herself, where she's told her daughter is being taken away from her, and the father of the child has been killed. The baby will be marked with a butterfly, and that all this pain will eventually make her stronger. And that if she's lucky, one day she will find her again. So you guys see where this is going, right? Are you connecting the dots yet? Psylocke then slashes the tablet in half, grabs the informant while Laura holds her goons off, and right when the informant says she can't give her the location of Apoth, she gets a psychic blade right through her skull. Purple butterflies everywhere. It looks pretty cool. What an awesome scene. An X-Men that is operating outside the normal rules and doing whatever it takes, even if it's killing. Do you guys remember from the House of X storyline that one of the first laws of Krakoa is no killing humans? Well, that law was just broken. X-23 takes out the goons and she's like, what's going on? And with a touch from Psylocke, she's shown that this little girl is Psylocke's daughter, and she has the location. Through contact with the informant's brain, she obtained that information. They arrive at a farm right outside of Tokyo, which is the location Psylocke picked up, and she tells X-23 to get ready to kill because she doesn't plan on leaving survivors. So upon opening the barn doors, though, they see 5 other kids, which are set up with overlock devices, and she tells X-23 that they're not to be harmed, that this isn't their fault. But suddenly, the device is activated to self-destruct, I guess, and the kids fall dead to the ground. So as they head out to find the person responsible, they hear a voice from inside say, "It was me." And they see a little boy being channeled with the voice of Apoth, and it tells them to leave and go back to their island and to leave the human world alone, to let them continue its work. That without them, the human world is going to finally be able to evolve. Then suddenly, the final kid drops dead also. And we're shown a flashback of the hooded figure training Psylocke, telling her she's the goddess of mercy and that she's going to bring balance. So after being asked what she needs, Psylocke says, "Someone worth killing." And in this final scene, Psylocke heads back to Sinister, who doesn't want to hear any more human matters. But she says she's recruited X-23 and Cable, and she tells him she's putting a team together and she wants him to keep it secret from the Krakoan Council. And that once she finds Apoth, she's going to bring it back to Sinister so he can study and extract all the knowledge, the tools, the skills. And after that, she's going to kill him. So as they exit, Psylocke tells Cable and X-23 to find others that they can trust to join them. And she tells them the same thing the hooded figure told the little girl, that they're caterpillars, and she will make them into butterflies. So obviously, things are going to get really heated. She's on the search for this Apoth. The team is going to grow. X-23 and Cable alone are amazing to have on this team because they're savages. And let's see what happens next issue. And there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. Remember to like the video below, subscribe to the channel, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Last Comic Book Standing. I'll see you next week.